Very often when I'm coming home from work, I will turn on a radio station that is an evangelical Christian station. Even though I'm not of that persuasion myself, I like listening to it. I'm always interested in what other people think and believe, and I enjoy it. It's better than having the oldie station on and listening to Sweet Home Alabama or Honky Cat for the 84,000th time. So, it's something that gets the old wheels turning in my head, and so I appreciate it. Uh, and occasionally, within that sea of disagreements that I have with the people that are on these particular programs, somebody will come up with a nugget of profundity that I think is actually very useful in living life. And I'm going to pass one of those on to you today. I was the other day listening to a guest who is fairly well known in evangelical circles. Her name is Johnny Erickson Tata. She's a quadriplegic. She sustained a serious injury that brought her into that condition, and it's fairly well known that when she was in the early stages of her quadriplegia, she was very despondent. She was in despair over it, and the guest on this program asked her, well, what was it that finally got you to change the way you look at this whole situation? And the answer she gave kind of hit me upside the head. I thought it was great. She said, well, it was purely selfish. I was just tired of being depressed. And I thought, well, that's great. Yeah, I can relate to that because I'm a person who's prone to being melancholy at times, fairly often, in fact. And I can testify that it's no fun. So maybe it's a good idea sometimes to just give it up for the sake of our own happiness and well-being. Now, some of you might say, well, it's easy for you to say that. You can't just snap your fingers and make this stuff go away. You don't have that much control over how you feel. If you feel depressed, you feel depressed. And I'm not denying the biological component to depression or the genetic factor that's involved in that. But I will say, as a person who is given to depression from time to time myself, we tend to ruminate on the things that are making us depressed. We analyze them, we turn them over in our minds, we rewind and watch them again and again and again and again. And we have control over that. Every time we do that, we make a choice to do that. It's not like there's some default program running in our heads. We do that. And we don't have to do that. And so maybe some of us, at least those of us who are not suffering from a type of very deep clinical depression that is more serious than just the normal melancholy that many of us feel from time to time, maybe it would behoove us to just give it up, to just think about some positive things, some uplifting things, instead of all of those things that you're melancholy about. Again, that's a choice. We have control over that. And the thoughts we think, I believe, have a great influence on the way we feel. So let's start thinking right thoughts. Let's give it up for our own sake, just because we're tired of being depressed. That's some advice that I intend to start to heed myself.